Well, hello. Today in the studio, I have Amanda Rosazza. Now, I did that with the inflection as well, and I really hope I got that right because I've practiced that about 40 times to not stuff it up. Amanda, how did I go?
Look, not only did you nail it, Scott, you did it better than me or any Italian that's ever lived.
Yes,
So,
I feel great because I had the hand gesture going. Like
Yeah.
if you're just listening, you cannot see that I had the hand as well. It was the Zutz in the middle, the Rosazza.
Yes.
Because being Australian, I gave you a bit of, so how do you pronounce that? Rosazza? Oh, God, I'm so sorry. I really apologise. I'm sorry that I butcher those, but that's just my Australianism. Amanda, thank you for taking the time to come and talk to me today on my little show.
Thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
Stoked. Now, Amanda, I know you through this little group called Brisbane Small Business, and you have taken on the job there as the chief. You call yourself the general magician. I call you the chief, but, you know, same but different. But then you've got a whole other life outside that as well. And I thought, well, we might as well get in here today and talk about a few of those things. So I'm going to throw it over to you. Where would you like to start?
Oh, there's so many places we could start, really. Do we start at the beginning or at the end?
Oh, let's start at the end and then go back.
Okay.
Tell me today. Tell me right now, Amanda Rosazza.
Yeah.
Who are you today?
Today, so many things, so many hats, so many things to so many people.
Crazy.
Let's start where you started. Brisbane Small Business, yes. So it's a community. It started as a Facebook group. I think if you ask Kevin, he would tell us it's 8 or 9 years ago here in the little Brisbane town in Queensland, Australia. And it started as a means for small businesses to connect on Facebook. And then it's become this 20,000 plus member community online and out in the real world, connecting small businesses, not just locally here in Brisbane, but globally, which is pretty cool. And Kevin needed someone to stand at the helm, and I was just in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely, and everybody else declined. No.
That is actually true as well. Also, I was the only one game enough to take it
Mate,
on.
it's a hell of a job. I couldn't do it. So,
It's,
I take my
community
hat off to
management, right?
Mate,
It's one of those things.
And I just spilled water all over myself. I'm really glad that this is voice only. This it really helps. I can be more of a grub and nobody can tell.
Please do. do.
So I just did that twice. How did I miss my... Anyway.
We're trying to protect the integrity of the studio equipment.
Of the microphone, and we're also trying to really hold on to those ambulances that are punching through in the background.
It's amazing.
At the moment. If you are listening to this in your car, no, they're not trying to tell you to walk over. This is just Ipswich Road on any given day, and I apologise. One day I'll have a soundproof studio, but that day is not today. Anyway, where were we, Amanda? We're lost already.
That's okay.
Start.
We are going to go on all of the tangents. It's going to be amazing.
Look, I love a good tangent.
They're the best.
But, so as the leader of BSB, what are you hoping to achieve there? Where are you going to take this ship?
Well, that's a great question. There's a lot of opportunity, and I think, and you and I have discussed this at not huge length, but we have discussed this about where we want to take it as a community. There's a lot of opportunity. First things first, though, we need to be serving the small businesses of Brisbane. If we don't nail that first, we can't do anything else. And one of the biggest opportunities that's coming through in the next 10 years, is it 9 years now, is the Olympics. So we've actually got a networking event coming up later this month. Shameless plug for those playing at home. We're going to be talking to another local business that's going to educate us around getting government funding and getting our foot in the door with some of the lucrative opportunities that will present themselves with the Olympics coming through in 2032, and also just generally speaking. For me, though, it's really about getting back to your original question. How do we make sure that businesses in Brisbane, small businesses specifically, are succeeding? How do we make sure that's happening? Sort of this no person, no human left behind mentality. How do we make sure that we have services and systems and processes set up so that everyone is looked after?
I'll throw it out there. I'm just going to sidestep you with this one and go, as a small business owner of 14 years, I feel grossly unsupported.
Right, and you should.
Honestly, small business employees, I think we're up in the 90th percentile of all people in Australia.
Yeah.
Small business pays the most tax, small business has the most regulation, small business has the most levers crunched against it because we're too small to advocate and stand up for ourselves. So I would suggest that you've got a fair bit of work to do.
Yeah, just quietly. Lots of work to do. Lots of work to do. So we've got the community there. The support network is what needs to be really, as you just pointed out. And I'm sure everyone that's listening, if you're a small business owner, you most likely feel exactly the same.
I was impressed to know that I pay more tax than Telstra. I thought that was pretty impressive. So,
Sorry, gonna stop you there. Really?
yeah. No, if you look at the numbers, and I understand subsidies, etc. I'm not smart enough to understand everything, but when you look at, you go, and I'm not upset about that. I love living in this country. I'm delighted to support, but I certainly think that small business shoulders a very heavy part of the burden because we don't have expensive enough lawyers to be able to offshore our IP to tax havens and then, find ways for the people writing the policies in big accountancy firms with 3 letters who then advise the ATO and then tell each other what the secrets are and then farm it out to their clients. We don't have those wonderful facilities as small business owners. We just slog it out and do the right thing.
That's it.
So, wow, can you tell I've got, There's no animosity there whatsoever.
No, not at all.
And I think that's the thing is small business, I think, gets absolutely throttled. It is grossly undervalued, grossly underappreciated, grossly undersupported. And unfortunately, if we don't help each other, there is actually no help.
That's it.
The answer is tough shit is what I have found when I've actually even tried to get help. The answer is tough shit. And if you... And, mate, any other small business owner will tell you this. If you go to the bank and ask for money and say you're self-employed, mate, you might as well be a bloody, you're going to be punching the glass barbecue like in a gutter and probably be more likely to borrow money to buy a house than if you tell them you're self-employed.
That's it. 100%. Yeah.
So
exactly.
Wow, look how
at
frustrated
Scott
I am.
Coming out, ladies and gentlemen.
How frustrated I am. And I am probably interested to see how we could work harder together to advocate for small business in any way possible. I don't even expect that much. I'd be shocked if there was any support. So that's why I'm always blown away when there's been a few grants go through that I've seen which were lovely off the back of the old spicy cough that devastated small business in Australia. So grants of $5,000, even though it's not a huge amount of money, can be instrumental for companies that wouldn't have spent that otherwise.
Exactly, yeah. So they can get the right support, or it could be spending money on coaching, mentoring, ads, getting the right specialist in your business to solve the particular issue or problem or challenge or bottleneck to take you to that next step.
Do you know I've discovered I'm the bottleneck in my small business?
Yeah, me too. Same. Guilty.
That's super annoying.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah.
Super annoying.
Look, relatable.
That's one we've got to keep working on.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
But we have such a wonderful, strong community in this. And Brisbane, I think, is very uniquely positioned compared to some of the other capital cities. And I've always enjoyed that we're sort of the underdog redneck of the East Coast cities. Those down south look at us and think we're a bit slow and a bit rough. But, mate, Brisbane's it's got a few good things going for it that they actually found, and we're moving up here at 50,000 a year.
Yes, they were.
For the last couple of years, they did catch
fabulous.
on that there's a lot of good things going on here.
Yeah.
And there's wonderful things that, we can do and be involved with and be doing. And I guess this is probably even just us half talking about where we're going with all these things. I guess for myself, they're things that I'd love to see us incorporating in this forward trajectory.
Done. It's happening.
I love it.
Yeah. All happening, Scott.
It's all happening.
It is.
In terms of what you do, tell me a little bit about that.
Me. Okay. So my business, General Magician, Chief, Brisbane Small Business also. So my business is called The Culture Cure. So we're all about bringing out the magic in businesses and ditching dysfunction. So I didn't start. I've spent many years as a corporate facilitator. So anything from emotional intelligence to team building, leadership, employee experience, customer experience. There's so much dysfunction out there.
Oh, I know it.
Yes.
As I said, I'm part of the problem.
Same, right? Guilty as charged. So one of my big things was, not to go too far back into the story, is I believe that all businesses can be great and they can be amazing, and it's just about having the right tools and systems and processes and knowledge in place so that we can provide great leadership training to all of our leaders in the organisation so that they can give an amazing employee experience and then a rockstar client or customer experience.
And what does that look like? I probably don't understand that fully, because as somebody that does, I guess, like corporate communications, I'm like external. I'm like selling the sizzle.
Yes.
But you're, I guess, doing that more internally and more hands-on, I'd have to assume.
That's it, yeah. So essentially it starts with leadership that I alluded to before. So if you have rubbish leadership, let's just call a spade, it all trickles down. So snowball effect, right? So if you can empower people to be great leaders, that means that they give their employees a great experience. You've got people that can do their best work because they've got the right tools to do their best work, and they actually want to be there. They want to do their best work, which means that they give customers and clients a really amazing experience. So it all trickles down from your leadership.
And unpack that for me, because here's something I've discovered. I really don't like managing people.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, really don't like it. I don't think I'm particularly good at it. Quite seriously, I am lacking in that area.
Okay.
Well, so if you identify that you don't enjoy managing people, where on earth do you start, particularly as a small business? And I love throwing you under the bus with this, because I don't have I actually don't know the answer.
No, that's okay. So what is, I'll ask you a question. Question with a question.
Far away.
What is it about managing or leading people that you don't like?
Wow. Where do I start?
No, that's cool. The beginning.
So what I have discovered, and I say this with respect because I've worked with a lot of wonderful people, and I think the other thing that I've come to appreciate is you cannot expect an employee to work with the gusto of an owner. I think that that's unrealistic. However, my problem is that's what I expect of people.
Right, okay.
I expect, and look, I don't expect someone to maintain the sort of pace that I do. I don't expect people to maintain the intensity that I do. But broadly speaking, that's the level that I would like to see. And, you know, if we got into 60, 70, 80% of that, I'd be delighted. But what I have found is on a sliding scale over time, it's not sustainable. People can't maintain the pace. People's private lives heavily intertwine with their commercial lives. And inevitably, you spend a significant amount of your time managing personalities, external problems, external dramas, which then potentially become internal dramas, which then take away from the things that I do well and I enjoy doing. And none of that, for me, is a good time.
It's true.
And
not a good time.
I would suggest that, because I've had these discussions with other business owners over the years where they sort of say to me, you know, I spend all my bloody time, it's like I'm running a childcare centre. And these are very common things that I hear because you as the owner, it all comes to you. You have to deal with all of it. You've still got to pay for it. If they're having a bad day, that also then becomes your problem. And if they're underperforming, that also becomes your problem. And there is a trickle-on effect. So that is my broad experience. And it's just the fact that as patient as I am and as patient as I can be, I have to keep the business going.
That's it.
I've got to be out the front. I've got to be doing those things. I need to be bringing in the business, driving the business, creating the business, pushing the business forward, whereas you fall back, in my case, very heavily. You know, they say work on the business, not in the business.
Yeah.
Mate, when I'm managing people, I am not only in the business, I'm being trodden on by it.
Yes, accurate. It's all true. So question then becomes, what percentage of your time is the mix right now, would you say?
Oh, well, now it's 0.
Right.
Because we have actually changed the entire model of our business.
Is there someone between you and the team now? Or
Yes, there's a few people.
see, that would be my first suggestion for those of you playing at home. When you get to that size, general manager or team leader or someone, put someone in between that can deal with the humans. If you're not in that position, that's okay too. It comes back to your systems and your processes, which sounds kind of counterintuitive because we're talking about people and feelings and emotions and all of the madness that comes with people. It really does come back to solid systems and processes.
And that was the worst part is I had the systems and processes, but the systems and processes still needed people.
They do, yes.
So what I've got now is I've got an assistant that helps me directly.
Awesome.
So, and we've been working together for a couple of months now, and she helps me specifically manage my emails.
Beautiful.
Because one of the challenges I have is I probably have 300 pieces of communication come across on a daily basis. That would probably drop to 50 or so days of the weekend, but then would rocket straight back up again. And then I'll generally try to fit, between 2 to 5 personal interactions in a day. So today, this is my third.
Nice.
So being a podcast, and then this also then wipes out 2 hours of my functional day.
Got it. Yeah.
So for those 2 hours, I'm offline.
Yep.
But the joy with that assistance is emails that are coming through are being responded to, are being acknowledged.
Right. Yep.
So in real time, stuff is being dealt with. We use Asana as our back-end
Love Asana.
management system. Yeah, I've used a hell of a lot, and we've found that to be one of the strongest. We've used Trello and a few other Kanban sort of things, but Asana, in terms of a broader tool, has been very powerful because of its sheer scope. And so from that, we then have a project manager, and then we have people underneath that. So we're getting there, but here was my other problem: letting go.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Holy moly! Like as I said, I've been doing this for 14 years now, and I'm not a fast learner, as you can guess. But it was very hard allowing somebody else into my emails.
Yeah.
Because mate, that's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah,
like
that's
all,
right.
all the wins, all the horror stories, everything rolls through there. And I'm like, oh God, like how do you open this up to somebody? And then they see what you spend and what you book and what you do and you're like, whoa, but I also just hit the point where I'm like, man, I can't even do this anymore. Like I literally just give up. I can't keep up. Every day I'm getting further behind in terms of staying on top of things.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't even keep the basics turning over. Well, sorry, I could, but what I'd have to do is I'd have to start working at 6 a.m. and do 2 or 3 hours of admin before my day would start, which then meant I wasn't spending time with my wife, wasn't spending time with my boy. So I'd do 3 hours of admin in the morning, which would take over that time. But see, I've now rebuilt that time. And this is a really,
awesome.
It's actually really fun talking to you about this because I'm trying to put together how to do this stuff, and I'm confident that there would be other small business owners listening that are just like, yeah, I too punch myself in the face on a daily basis going, what do I do? Because I need to do all these big company things, but I need to do it with no budget and no time.
That's it. Yeah.
Which is like totally awesome, and no resources. And you're like, yay, it's just me.
That's it. Yeah. So in answer to your question, how do I do it without time and without resources? So tools like Asana do make life easier. So, and with your emails, this, again, really simple, setting up rules, really basic. If you don't understand, can I put things in the show notes?
Mate, you can do whatever you want.
Okay. So setting up rules in your emails. So if there are, say, for example, I subscribe to newsletters that come in, and yes, it takes me 3 seconds to file them. I need to have them for future reference, but I can send them straight to a folder. Little things like that. Client inquiries can be sent straight to a folder. In fact, I will record a Loom video that we will put in the show notes that shows people how to hack their email until they get an executive assistant like Scott.
Wow. So you'd be horrified if you looked at my emails. I have 2 folders, read and unread.
Oh, yeah, look. No, that's not ideal. Also,
Sorry.
that's okay. I'll forgive you. We'll do a little Loom video.
Loom video.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll show us how
Show
to
notes. Hack your emails.
Because, look, I think this is a good thing to dig into is, okay, so once you've hacked your emails for tired, frustrated business owner, what's the next thing you can attack?
So this really digs into time management,
Man,
right?
I love it. Hit me with it. I don't know this stuff. Like, I know colouring in. That's what I tell people. Like, man, give me a box of Crayola and bam, I'm on. But, like, organising, turn it up.
Well, first, have you heard of the Pomodoro technique, Scott?
What? Mate, is that an Italian pasta sauce?
Yeah, yes, it is. Also, the
'Cause that's
Pomodoro
tomato,
technique.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's the tomato.
Yeah.
Yes. So the Pomodoro technique is
I speak Italian. Look at me.
you're winning. Okay, you can live over there, you can work over there, you can drive the fast cars. Done. Sorted. So it was invented, I forget the gentleman's name. He was at college and he had the attention span of a gnat, probably like both of us. So he needed to find a more efficient way to study. He was at his parents' place. His mum had a tomato timer sitting in the kitchen. He stole it.
What's a tomato timer?
It's a Pomodoro timer. It's like I have one at home.
I've got an egg timer. but-
It's a tomato.
What?
It's the shape of a tomato. It's a little cute
do you boil
tomato.
tomatoes? I'm so confused. What?
I think it was just aesthetic.
How long does it go for? Oh, so it's a timer that looks like a
60
tomato?
minutes? Yeah, it looks like a tomato.
There you go.
It's just for aesthetics. You know how they have a hen? There's a hen timer.
Nah.
Yeah, okay. I'll again, show notes.
I've not spent
photo.
enough time in kitchenware, clearly.
Look,
So Pomodoro timer.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Old mate stole his mum's
Yeah,
timer,
yeah.
and what he did, 25 minutes he would set on the timer.
Yeah.
He would read, just do one task. I do this every day of my life now, even on the weekends. This is how I get stuff done because I am distracted, shiny objects all the time. 25 minutes, one thing. And I have show notes, Pomodoro tracker. I'll put it in the show notes for you. Essentially, you write down, okay, so I am going to work on my webinar slides, for example. For the next 25 minutes, the timer goes off, 5-minute break. Get up and do anything other than work. So I will normally be domestic and I will fold some clothes, or I might go for a little jog around the apartment, or whatever I need to do. Like if I need my energy boosted, I'm not going to fold clothes. Who's going to fold clothes to get their energy up? Go for a little jog, play with the dog, whatever. Then after the 5 minutes is up, back 25 minutes. You do that 4 times and then you can take a 30-minute break. Game changer.
My mind is struggling with this. Don't you just so I have 3 browsers open with 3 different profiles. Each browser then has about 14 tabs open.
Yeah, look, no.
I then have something logging in, something logging out, something downloading, something uploading, something rendering, and then something else doing something else, and then a list of some things that I'm also supposed to be doing. Are you telling me that this is not an efficient way to use my time?
Look, far be it from me. Also, yes, that's terrible.
Oh, I know.
Yes. So one browser window.
One?
Yes. Also,
Mate, what circus do you live in? Do you know we run 6 monitors here so that you
And
can
that's okay.
actually do like
all of the magic.
all the things at once?
Yes. Yes. I have 3 monitors.
One tab? How do you do anything with one tab?
Okay.
open?
Let's
Working
negotiate.
in a digital landscape with 2-factor authentication, I usually have to have 3 things open and a phone just to make it work.
Okay. How about only the ones you need?
I need 36 browser windows open.
No, you don't.
That's why I've got 64 gig of RAM so that Chrome doesn't crash the computer.
It's not to do with video editing at all.
It
or
has
photo
nothing to do
editing.
with that.
Nothing.
Nothing to do with the
Nothing.
rendering. It's just to maintain the Chrome browsers because it's a hog of...
Look, it is. Check that system
Okay,
monitor.
so you strongly advocate for one thing at a time, 25 minutes at a time.
Yes, and then take a break. So, and if you committed to that...
Explain the science to me. Dumb it down for me here, Chief.
Because the humans,
The humans.
we can't effectively multitask.
Lies.
As
We
much
can
as
rapidly
we think
change.
we can.
I know that we can't multitask, but what we can do is we can change lanes real fast
can.
all the time if we're neurodivergent. Zing.
Gold star.
Ha!
Look, also,
Nothing but net there.
yeah, look, I can't argue with that. Also, for the Amandas playing at home that aren't cool enough, that don't have the math skills we need We need the system.
Look, honestly, I'm sure I'm doing 25 things badly at once. I'm sure that if I gave all my attention to a singular thing through that magical hyperfocus, that's quite often where good things happen. So I broadly understand the theory. I'm just, I'm really lost in the practice.
I think you should try it for like a week.
Do I have to get a tomato timer?
You don't have to. Okay, so here's
Could I get a funnier one?
Yes, I would recommend, please, the more phallic related, the more phallic symbol.
I wasn't even
we can
thinking
aim for.
phallic, but I was thinking, I'm sure there would be some hilarious timers out there.
What about a Crocs timer? Do you think maybe they'll make one for you?
There'll be one, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Also, so I don't actually use my tomato timer anymore because it is very jarring. It's literally that shrill, horrible noise.
Yeah, that'd be awful.
So there's an app called Flow that you can download either on your phone or on your computer. And
paid app or free app for us tight-ass business owners?
There's two. I have the paid version because
Fancy.
what the paid version does is blocks me from being on Facebook and news.com.au.
But what
while
if I
I'm
do
in
work on
Flow.
Facebook?
So I do a separate 25 minutes that's Facebook enabled, so that I'm not on Facebook when I should be doing my webinar slides, for example.
See, my real problem is I go on Facebook to do work and then I'm like watching reels.
Look, so the other hack for that, which is you need to watch reels for your reach, right?
They're the best.
Also, there's a Google Chrome plugin called Facebook Feed Eradicator, which I use all the time.
Facebook Feed Eradicator.
Yeah. So when I'm on my computer and I am doing so if I'm a lot of my clients use Facebook chat, let's be honest. A lot of, I'm in multiple Facebook groups that I manage, BSB, for example, and for clients. So I need to be on Facebook. Facebook Feed Eradicator means that I don't get stuck in a doom scroll.
So it turns off access to the feed.
Correct.
It closes it. See, I've had experience with this. I don't know if you would recall this one, but there was a wonderful plugin called Unbaby Me.
Tell me more.
Many years ago, because before I had children and before I understood that they're the light of your life.
Yes.
And also, absolutely make your life a living train wreck. When all my friends were getting married and having children, there was this wonderful thing you could have called Unbaby Me. And what you could do was you could tell it whenever there's a baby photo, so it would pick up the words that would generally be associated with when somebody posted their child. And then you could choose for it to put something over the top. So I was like Unbaby Me with Speed Hunters. So it would put like cool car pictures over the top of somebody's.
Of the cute babies.
Yeah, cute baby picture.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm like, oh my God, that's so fantastic. Look at those developmental stages. How exciting. And I fall down that rabbit hole. But back then. Yeah,
so similar vibes.
Same concept.
Yeah. And it gives you a really, they need to work on their inspirational quotes because it cycles through like 5 of the same inspirational quotes, and I could probably quote all of them.
You should bring back Unbaby Me and just like wipe out the whole feed.
There you go. Just cars. Cars.
Or Disney characters for yourself.
Look, probably. Just Disney.
Yeah, just
Disney related anything. Yeah.
Okay, so really helping you to hone in your focus on the specific thing that you're doing, removing and then using these sort of tools. So using a tool in Facebook so that you can still, because there's also Facebook work. There's a business. Have you even tried that? I haven't even tried that.
I've seen clients roll it out and it's just, I'm sure if I spend enough time with a client to get it working, it would be great. It's just something that gets ignored.
Yeah, I just couldn't be asked. Because I'm like, why would I put the dumbed down version when I probably just need that one and I don't want to find workarounds, and I'm like, I know how to work this one.
Yep. Yeah. Like I said, I'm sure there's a way to do it effectively. I've just not invested the time.
I don't know what it is either because I'm like, that doesn't really help anything that I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're spending 25 minutes. We've got Facebook under control.
We have.
What do I then do about my phone that pings 300 times a minute?
Well,
does it
that goes into Pomodoro mode as well.
Pomodoro as well?
Yes. So, and this, I always have this challenge with clients. So if you're a human that is on call, I get it. If you can at least block yourself a power hour 1 to 2 times a day. So for example, if you know that say between So you've spent time with the fam bam in the morning. So maybe between 8 and 9, you're generally safe. You could smash out 2 Pomodoros, for example. Then you know the clients are going to be calling, your team are going to be calling, whatever it might be. You can still, I still do Pomodoros if I know the phone's going to ring, because what we do, and I'm sure you're similar to me, it's like, well, I have spare 10 minutes. I can jump on YouTube and watch the latest Disney vlog. Yay. Or I could be getting those webinar slides done. So it does force you to stay on task. When I find I waste, probably it could be a good 2 hours with those little 10 to 15 minute blocks where I could be getting something done. So, yes.
Because I run a lot of lists. Like that's
lists
my thing.
rock. Yeah, that's good.
What's it called? The Google Task.
Yeah,
that's
nice.
actually become my go-to program, and mainly because I often talk about lack of friction and those sort of things. We talk about speed to click and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, nice.
In our world.
Yep.
And Google Tasks has done that very nicely for me, where you just push one button and it's open. I don't need to open a thing, then open a thing, then open a thing, then write, which is, if you think Asana or some of that. Like you've got to dig in to get it in the right place.
Absolutely.
Whereas Tasks is just a big old list. Mm-hmm. And because I use Google and Chrome across all my devices, I just, whenever I've got
it's
my
always
phone,
there.
I push that and I scribble the note.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to push save. You can just jump out and it keeps it, and you can have your subtasks and all the other things. And there's even like Kanban things that you can add on if you really
Stop
want to get
it.
crazy. It's really cool.
I'm going to try that out.
It's magic in its simplicity when you just need to scribble something down. Because I've tried other things. Do you remember Evernote and stuff like that?
I still use Evernote.
Yeah.
It's clunky.
Yeah.
I'm a bit stubborn with it, I think, because I've got so much in there, but we could definitely migrate out.
I've used Google Keep as well, because you can like chuck all sorts of stuff. Like you can have links and pictures and things in the note.
Yeah, cool.
But for me and my brain style and my preferred work style, I just need to grab the idea before it like falls off the cliff.
Yes.
And out of my brain.
Yeah.
Never to be seen again.
That's right. Yeah.
And I just need to go, great idea, quick.
Yeah.
And then it's down. And then I come back and look at them.
Yeah.
And then that sort of then more broadly fills out my, as we move into the... Do you know what's funny? I don't even go into the Asana board. I actually use my assistant to do that for me. I actually went in and looked at it the other day.
As it should be.
But each new thing that has to be dealt with just goes through there and is then added to it.
Yeah,
but I went in
nice.
to have a look just to make sure it was being done properly. And I was like, it's pretty good.
Love that. So good.
Yeah. But I'm actually super interested in like these hacks or things that people use effectively, because quite often I'll come across them. Usually it's me and my brother, who's my business partner. He'll go, have you seen this thing? Because we're pretty hardcore into our tech, and so we really like all this stuff. And so we're always playing with whatever thing is out, and it'll generally be from those sort of interactions where you're like, oh my God, have you seen this? So quite often there's a solution there for a problem that you're having that you don't even realise is something that you could be solving.
Exactly.
And that's where these sort of conversations are actually really helpful to me, and hopefully to other people, that there are so many solutions out there for stuff that we're dealing with. But it's just got to... It's got to come across your radar.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't know what you don't know.
Is the problem. And interestingly, this is also what I really like about these sort of discussions, and your long form discussion. It's part of why I enjoy podcasting as well, is that you can peel away the layers and get right into the, okay, but what do? You need to be more effective, be more efficient, do more things. And I'm like, okay, cool, but how? Yeah. And then how do you measure the effectiveness? And then how do you then do it better?
Yes.
Because by the 10th time, if I'm not doing it better, if I'm still doing it the same, I'll be pretty annoyed at myself.
That's exactly. And a lot of people don't go that extra layer. So it's like, I'm doing this thing, I must be doing better. Are you? That's the question.
Are you?
Yeah.
How?
Are you,
Are you measuring it?
Yes. If you can't measure it, you can't master it.
Boom.
Yes.
That's the one.
So with your Pomodoros, you need to track them, and then you need to have a measurable output. So if you know every Tuesday, for example, it mostly looks the same in terms of what you need to output, you could measure it without Pomodoros and measure it with. That's an example of how you could get that done.
Well, see, being the guy that likes the shiny objects, and I know you like the shiny objects.
Stop.
And when we say this is the colloquialism for just like following all the exciting things.
Yes.
And like, ooh, we should do that, and we should do this, and we should do that as well. And again,
Exactly.
I find this is part of the neurodivergent life.
Look, yes.
But I reasonably specifically, outside of, basic structure of sleep, diet, and exercise,
Right.
my days never look the same.
Okay, that's
so
fair.
I would struggle to measure them back to back.
That's cool.
And they never look the same on purpose.
Right.
Because I hate it when they look the same.
Ew, snakes, right? So could you have a project that looked the same?
No.
What could
I
look the
probably should.
same?
I don't know. Sleep, diet, and exercise, they look the same. My outfits, black t-shirt,
Love that.
shorts. Actually, no, I'm wearing a whole pair of shoes today. I don't have my Crocs on.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, who are you? Get out.
What is going on? I'm like, oh, wrong shoes. I'm off brand at the moment.
Disgusting. We need to talk about that. I was going to say offline, but no, now let's
now
address
it's
that.
terrible.
Terrible.
No.
I did my hair and I'm totally on brand.
I know,
mean,
whereas I'm fairly off brand. I got shorts with holes in them, and but no Crocs.
disappointing.
well.
Disappointing. So how would you measure it?
Yeah.
It's about, okay, what?
It's probably an output measurement.
Yeah. So
and a
what can I
frustration
look at?
measurement.
Yeah.
And
well,
how long is the to-do task list?
Exactly.
And, did I wake up having a panic attack this morning?
And that's
that's right up
it.
there in the measure.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's one of the biggest things for me. I know the output is better. I also know I don't feel overwhelmed.
And that'll be the
I
one.
feel on top of what I'm doing.
And see, honestly, for me, that is the measure.
Yeah.
Like this morning, what day of the week is it today? I don't even know.
It's Monday still. I know.
Mate, it feels like a week's gone already.
Yes.
And it's only been 3/4 of a day. Because of the speed, the speed of work and the speed of the day. It's very hard. And I woke up this morning with like a hit list of stuff to attack.
Yep.
And literally on my computer at 6:30 after I've worked out, and I'm like, righto, boom, and knocking stuff out, knowing that I had a fairly stacked day.
Yeah.
And that I wouldn't look at my laptop again till
Right.
probably nighttime.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I've done the same thing, exactly the same thing today. So, I was with clients this morning, popped home, did a couple of things. I haven't Pomodoro'd yet. That's for tonight.
There you go.
I've got projects on. So, and you would know, sorry, I'm going on a tangent here, but you would know when you're in sprint mode, if you like. I always call it sprint mode. So I've got projects on. I need to get this out so that we can do the next thing. So I'm in sprint mode at the moment. So yeah, it's conceivable that I will do a day's worth of Pomodoros probably this evening.
No
and that's
doubt.
just what we need to do.
Unfortunately.
Oh, look, wouldn't have it any other way.
No, actually I wouldn't, because I'm
Yeah.
no good at being told what to do, is my other problem.
Yeah, no, I'm not great at it. I grin and bear it. Personality type. People pleaser, smiling. Okay, sure.
I tell people their ideas are dumb.
See, I need more of that. I need more of the. That's
And I
just
don't
not
do it to
great.
be rude. I will like extrapolate it in my head and then go, what about this?
There you go. See, that's
Because I don't just point out the
Fabulous.
problem. I
Yeah.
like to present a solution.
yeah. Well, what if we did it this way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you considered?
Yeah. Total curiosity framing, right?
Yeah. No, I tried people pleasing. That was terrible.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I don't recommend that to anybody.
No, not
So
ideal.
I might help you to work your way out of that.
Yeah, let's
So
do that.
If you can help me to be more organised,
Done.
I'll help you to not please.
Done, good sir.
You can still
Done.
please, but
And move
on-
them forward.
on your own terms.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes
Yes.
what people need is the good old-fashioned table flip, where you get up and you go, "Hot," and you like metaphorically flip the table.
Can I actually flip it?
Look,
as
you can
well?
if you really want.
think I would like
I
that.
don't know what HR will think of that.
Oh, look. Yeah, maybe not at a client.
No, but look, I think metaphorically flipping the table is quite often quite
Yes.
fun.
This is me flipping the table.
Flipping the table.
And now,
What you're doing here is totally wrong. Let's start
is
again.
bad.
Here's why it's not working.
what about that do you like?
Yeah.
Oh, surprise.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Yes.
We've fallen off track again.
That's okay.
And see, this is the shiny ball. This is what happens.
This is what we do.
When two people who like all the ideas go,
Oh my goodness.
ping, 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 ping,
Imagine.
ping, ping. And then what we do is we come back on to
Exactly.
task, and I do the hand gesture or I go
Exactly.
back
And then
onto task,
Amanda's like,
and then I go back
focused on the hand.
back onto one thing.
Yeah.
Where we are continuing to talk about adding efficiency to your day. Because
Yes.
in all seriousness, I am very interested. So as I said, I've got, Gmail. I need to add some rules to my Gmail so I have more than just
yes.
in read and unread is a pro tip. I need to be considering the Pomodoro method
Yes.
of applying 25 good focused working minutes.
Yes.
And then standing up and walking around. I'm not good
Yeah,
at that.
5
actually,
minutes. So I'm not either. I'm terrible at walking away.
Yeah, because I just lock in.
So I need another thing to go to. So whether it's, okay, the dog needs a brush. I know this, it's all mundane stuff that needs to happen, but it gets you up and away and resets you, look out, it sounds crazy. Look out the window, reset the eyes, good for your eyesight. We're staring at computers all day. Go pat an animal, text a friend.
Something else.
Just something.
And then back again.
Yeah.
What other things can we add to our operational days to improve efficiency and output?
Yeah. So the next sort of step up from that, if you have teams, if you have contractors, so making sure in terms of systems and processes, they should know exactly what they're doing on a daily basis. So standard operating procedures, making sure you're communicating with them super clearly, and making sure like position descriptions. This is the craziest thing. I go out, start with a client, they don't have position descriptions, or they're so far away from what that position is now. No wonder people freak out and leave because they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. They don't know what a win looks like. So that's how you can help your team.
Is with clarity, understanding what each person does.
Yes, exactly. And making sure that they understand what a win, not just how to do their job, how to do a great job.
And do you do that in consultation with the individual, or do you just figure it out for them? How do you find that works best?
The best way to do it, so say, for example, you've got a team of 5 of the same role, say a customer service specialist. Who is the rock star? Who is the one that has the most opportunity to improve? And the position's description should be what the rock star's doing. And then we need to spend time with our improver, the person that needs the most assistance. But essentially, you go and find your star performer, and that's what you want everyone to be achieving.
And sorry, just to double back to my question, do you involve that individual in the process?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because and again, this is just me asking for my own understanding. Is the best way to create those role descriptions? Because obviously there's like the very basic output. What does it require?
Yeah.
But then if you've got the rock star, the reason I like the rock star, and particularly in a contractor sense, it's obviously the additional magic that they bring.
That's it. So, and you need to distill it down. So, so say if you and I were both working on a project, we both have our zone of genius, our superpowers, our magic. So if you've got 2 different people working in the same role, we still need to be able to benchmark what a win looks like. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah. So being able to do that. So what are the operational needs of the business? What does the client need? What does the team member need as well? So the employee, the team member is often the one that gets forgotten in that equation. If we do give them the best possible experience, they'll give the client the best possible experience. So how do we make sure that we're winning on all aspects of that?
And how do you find that you continue to manage that after you step away? So obviously you're there to help people do that. What's the longer, because I assume that you'd see similar things that, once yourself as a facilitator steps away, it's great for the first week or 2, and then it all goes back to where it was, and then everyone forgets, and then it's a train wreck again.
That's right.
Because that's honestly my personal experience of trying to implement things.
100%.
Is it falls back to whatever the backstop is where it just kind of works.
Yep. That's it.
How do I circumvent that?
So you need champions, essentially. So if whoever's implemented that, whether you've done it internally or you've got an external consultant in, if they're not coming in every sort of 3 months and just doing a temperature check for you, who is championing that?
Nobody
So,
is the answer.
Right. So we need to change that. So it's very often it'll be the rock star that's really good at what they do, remembering that just because I'm a rock star performer right now, everything you mentioned before, life happens. It might, they might be performing at 80%. That can be very obvious when you've got a star performer, right? So it's about monitoring that and doing check-ins with people on a monthly basis.
Because we even see that. I've got 2 business partners and we ebb and flow with the seasons as well.
Yeah.
And it's something that I've noticed that we've all been doing this long enough now where I see it in myself as well. Like you just know when you're off the boil.
100%.
When you are burned out and you go, I'm not much job at the moment. Mm-hmm. What do we do now? Because I don't know, I'm interested to keep having these conversations with you about all these little things. I'm just using this as my personal consultancy session.
I love it. Well, and the fact that you're asking the question, what do we do now? Most people just go, well, I'm not on my A game. And okay, I'll just either smash myself even more until I literally fall over, or something else, some Band-Aid solution gets put in place. The fact that you're asking the question, and it's all about being solutions focused, and think bigger than just going, okay, well, Amanda can take over for 2 weeks and you go take a holiday. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. Think bigger. So get all of your wild, crazy ideas. So brainstorming, I'm not telling you something that you don't know here. Like,
no,
you know,
I appreciate
all this
this.
stuff.
You tell me.
So with brainstorming, think of all the crazy, wonderful, amazing ideas, even if they're impractical, you could never afford, and I'm using my talky fingers here, to do it. Write them all down. Scott, tell me why you think we write all of the crazy ideas down.
So that we remember them.
So that we remember them. Also, what does it give our brain the opportunity to do?
Look, this feels like a trick question. I should
No,
know
no,
this.
not at all. There's a logical
but
answer.
Help me out.
So if there's this really fun idea, for example, like Scott gets to go race cars for 3 weeks to feel better, and we should probably let him do that, by the way.
That'd be
So
sweet.
we write that down. That means Scott's brain is open to thinking of all these other ideas. While you're hanging on to something and you're not allowed to express it, nothing else will come through. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Cool.
Because one of the things that when a director needs to take time for holidays, for whatever,
Yeah.
that's a big void
100%.
that we find. Mm-hmm. What do you advise?
So you should all know what your individual contribution is for a start. So each of you, there's 3 of you, right?
Correct.
You should all know what each of you brings, and you should have a contingency plan in place.
What small business has a contingency plan?
Smart ones do, kids.
Mate, that's why, yeah, exactly. But what on earth, what is a contingency plan for?
So it's, okay, if Scott suddenly had to take a month off tomorrow, what do we do?
Scott's pile of things that he's responsible for collapse into a heap.
No, we're not available for that because we're professionals.
No, we're small business owners and we're flogged.
And that's okay. Also, we don't have to accept that as well.
I don't, but I'm yet to come up with a better solution.
That's okay.
Help me,
So,
Amanda.
So triage, essentially. So understanding so if this is Scott's plate and we've got
Only one?
steak. I know, ridiculous.
Silly.
We've got steak, veggies and coleslaw.
Right.
We need to attend to the steak. The veggies and the coleslaw can sit in the fridge. Is that a good move? Or
Look, close enough, absolutely. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
So what is the most critical? What is mission
right?
critical?
Yeah, exactly. What are your mission critical stakes, if you like, so that everyone else in the team needs to understand how does the business not fall over if for whatever reason you've needed to step away.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't need to be. It all sounds very overwhelming if you spend a couple of hours working it out together as a team, it's done. It's saved somewhere in a drawer. And if you've got a particularly sensitive client or a big client that needs extra attention, you can add extra information around that particular client.
Honestly, it makes sense, and it actually doesn't sound dissimilar to what I'm trying to do at the moment.
Good.
Which is to make myself redundant from my own role.
Amazing.
I'm working real hard at that.
That's a great strategy.
Because,
I'm all for that.
Well, I've also come to discover I'm not as good as I think I am.
Tell me more.
I have discovered that appropriately equipped specialists are super good, and I just get in the way thinking that I need to be there.
And does this circle back around to you being the bottleneck in the business?
Mate.
Yeah.
And I actually now say that openly and loudly and go, if you can move this forward without me, please do it. Don't wait for me.
Love it.
Go around me, over me.
Yes.
All the other directions, don't let it wait for me.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And the more you can empower your team, no matter what size your business is, to make those decisions, they're happier and healthier because they're not constantly, not that Scott would be a scary boss. Also, imagine. No, so they know that they've got, so one of my clients, he talks about giving them their paddock to roam around in. So they can roam in the paddock, they can make decisions within the paddock, they can eat the grass. They don't leave the paddock. If they need to leave the paddock, that's when they put their hand up and they ask Scott or Amanda or whoever that might be.
My immediate question is what happens when they shit all over the paddock and then leave the gate open?
Well,
which is exactly what
that's a performance management conversation, that one. Little shit. How rude.
Sorry. All right.
No, that was great.
Back in my box.
Oh, no, that was great.
Yep, thank you.
I'm just wondering what animal it was in the paddock.
I'm imagining cows, like
cows,
big steaming piles of cow shit.
Yeah.
And if I'm talking to any business owner here, they'll be going, I can think of an exact person.
We all know one.
Look, it's probably me, to be honest.
No. Lies.
Left the gate open, the lights on.
Oh, no. We just spoke about the power bills, guys.
Okay. So allowing... I'm really good at derailing this.
It's great.
Allowing the person entrenched in that role to understand their boundaries, but the freedom to move within them and not getting in their way.
Yep.
Because that's something that I realise that I've done a lot over the years is like, you think you're not a micromanager and then you're there like just micromanaging the shit out of people and not letting them speak directly to the client because you don't trust it and you're worried that they're going to fuck up.
That's it.
All these sorts of things. And I've done all these things. I'm guilty. That's why I know about them. That's why I'm aware of them.
Yes.
Because I'm guilty.
Yep, exactly.
Guilty as charged, Your Honour.
Yeah. Love it. So what you've learned now, just to sort of take everything that you've just said, if you can show someone what a win looks like and say, go smash it, go crush it, tell me how you went, that's the secret right there.
Absolutely.
As long as they know what a win looks like.
Absolutely.
If you don't give them that information, so the opposite to micromanagement is absentee management. You're just not managing them at all.
That's my favourite one.
Yeah, look. Well, no, we're getting you to that point so that a middle person is giving them the win, right?
Yeah.
So, but having that ability to say, hey, so I might be talking to my EA, Alan. Alan, this is what a win in this situation would look like. And this is a great example of someone else that's done it, that did a really good job. Let's do that. And just let her go.
Mate.
It's that easy.
Yeah, give me an example.
It wasn't Alan in this particular instance. One of my other contractors, I needed a sales page and I could sit there for 3 hours and do a sales page in Kartra, and no, it was probably more like 3 days. Or I can say, hey, here's what an example of a great one looks like. Here's my color palette. Here's the icons. Go wild. He smashed it. He was great and I'm going to use him again. So...
And this is the joy and the trust and the letting go.
Yeah.
And the realising that you don't need to have your fingerprint on every single thing.
Beautifully
that
put.
happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a magic, which I'm sure you will appreciate, of knowing that things are happening while you're sitting here doing this right now.
Like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
Because part of my peak anxiety would be I'd get maybe where I would feel halfway through a podcast, then I'd be like, oh, crap. Oh, shit, I haven't done. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Whereas now I know that things are being progressed, and I'm even trying to figure out how to redirect my phone. So we're trying to run that through a VoIP thing. And
Ooh,
so
yeah,
that
totally
at a
achievable.
certain number of rings, rather than it just going to the stupid message thing, which I don't like listening to anyway, because that annoys me because there's so many steps to get to the message.
Yes.
Yes. Super annoying, and even worse when the person then just hangs up.
Right. Not cool. Yeah.
Like, or it's just
Bang.
spam, so there's no. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
But
Yes.
so that goes through, and somebody will be answering it, and there'll be a real person.
Amazing. That's amazing service right
Massively
there.
cough in the background.
Oh, look.
But that's where I'm trying to get to, because what can happen then, which I really love, is that a message can be sent through. So somebody could be trying to contact me via telephone, which is a terrible way to contact me.
I know. What's wrong with people?
Mate, not only do I not want to answer the phone, and this is part of our generation, we are blamed for this.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And all of the older team at BSB give me so much for it. It's like we don't do phones.
It's a wildly inefficient use of time for me.
And I agree. That's why I am not anti-phone. I just think there's better ways for us to get stuff done.
Mate, if we're going to talk, let's sit down together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's do this.
I love talking face to face.
100%.
Really enjoy it. I find it very productive. I find it very useful. But to interrupt me when I might be in my Pomodoro, whether or not I was aware of it, but I've always enjoyed the science around interruption.
Yeah.
Because that was something I looked into when I did have a reasonable sized team of staff, in particular in like the IT type stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And when you distract somebody, you got a coder who's working away and they're building the thing and they're in the zone and they've got the headphones on and the music going. You interrupt them, you tap them on the shoulder, hey, what about this thing? It takes them 30 minutes on average to then get back to the point where they are at peak efficiency again. Mm-hmm. And
crazy.
I've noticed that in my own work, which is why I then try to... I might not be able to do it well, but I do try to limit external distractions so that I can at least try and stay focused on the 76 things I'm doing badly at once.
Yeah, look, that's a start.
But I did find that really fascinating how we are.
It is.
Impossible, as you did say earlier, it is impossible for us to, we think we can multitask and compartmentalize all these things. But it's a very arduous process.
It's true.
For people to slip in and out of a task.
It's true, yeah. Especially, coding is the example that... the concentration that's required, because it's there's no room for, help me out, there's no grey areas, it's black and white.
Yeah, it's right or it's wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And when they miss it, and it's something that I also found, and because I work with a lot of highly creative people in what we do, you can tell when people hit the zone.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know when they're on and when they're really making magic. Mm-hmm. And you have to work very hard to make an environment where they can hit that zone and stay there so that they can be most effective.
Yeah, hit the nail on the head. And that's what we need to do. We need to create the right environment for them to do that.
Yeah. But I also have to do that for myself?
Yes.
No, that's just for other people, not for me. What are you talking about?
Once we completely make you redundant, then you can have shiny object syndrome. And only then.
No. No is my answer.
No.
Well, this wouldn't exist.
It's true.
Let me assure you. I promise you, this podcast would not exist.
80-20 rule?
Mate, 80-20, I don't know any of these. No, I'm joking. I'm aware of 80-20, but all the magic for me in my life is following the threads.
Right. You got to follow them and pull them and see what's at the other end. It's true. Yeah. No, I agree.
Which is really annoying because it's not very structured. And it's
pretty
loose. It's the vibe.
It is. It's a vibe. And also you can, this makes something that's magical sound very clinical. I'm a big believer in making the time for that.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm there with you.
Yes.
Because I've found that in the whole creative industries thing, because I need to be able to flick it on and off like a light switch.
100%. Yeah.
And what I find is I need a lot of quiet time to be most effective.
Yeah.
So when I'm gearing up for something, I need an hour or so of myself. If I know I have to be on,
Yeah.
if I know that I'm going into a complex situation, if I'm going into something where I have to present, perform, basically be the dancing monkey,
Yep.
I need time to be ready for that,
Right.
to then be able to attack it. And I have also found that in creative space as well,
Yeah.
where you will never be ready. Like you can't.
That's
But
right.
what you can do is you can ready the conditions
100%.
and you
Yep.
can start, and it is in the starting.
That's
10
it.
minutes after starting, then you're
in the
on.
zone. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
So you actually do have to. Damn it! Look, I do actually make structure. How annoying!
Disgusting.
Disgusting. That's revolting. Here I was thinking I was grossly disorganized. Damn it!
Just only a little bit. Only sometimes.
Jam.
Yeah.
I like being, just all over the
That
shop.
guy. I like being that guy.
All over the shop. My favourite. Yeah. No, all right. See, I'm hearing you because I do kind of do it inadvertently without realising it.
Because you've had to do it. You had
Because
to
I've had
find
to
the
do it.
solution.
Because I have had to find the solution because it's very hard,
Yeah.
these things that we do when you're in
Very.
charge of everything.
Yeah. So many hats.
Yeah, and people say so many hats, and I just feel like headbutting myself because it's not even changing hats; it's just everything. You've
Just
gotta
all of
do
it.
all of it, and so much of it that you're not good at, you don't enjoy,
And that, yeah, the not enjoying it part, the more of that people outsource, the better off they'll be.
yeah, I hate it so much. Like the administrative stuff
Yuck.
is like the total opposite.
Yeah, no, I hate.
Everything I like.
Yeah.
However, like I've gotten pretty good at, like I can read a P&L and I'm pretty good at the numbers and I'm pretty good at all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I like
Yeah,
that.
I had to learn it. I had to force myself.
Yeah, that's it.
And I enjoy all that. But my favourite thing is being presented with a complex problem where they
Yes.
go, I don't know, like we got this thing and how do we get it from here to there? And like I just want to do that all the time. And
That's a
and I'm
good
like, how do you
space to be in,
how
dude.
do you facilitate that? How do
Yeah.
you get to that point? Mm-hmm. And you'd be the same, I assume.
I
Like,
love
you
I
just
love
wanna-
solutions.
Yeah,
Ugh.
you just want to go into a catastrophe of a company where you can see just
Yeah.
nothing but potential.
Oh, it's just opportunity.
Yeah.
Like they're crying in the corner, respectfully. I'm like, nah, man. There's opportunity everywhere.
Yeah.
We got this. Let's go.
We can fix this.
Yeah.
Because it's never as bad as it seems. But
Absolutely.
interestingly, and you'd have a very similar experience, where internally a company will look at something and because they don't have the advantage of a little bit of distance, they
That's
know
it.
all the ins and outs and all the sad stories and terrible tales,
Mm-hmm.
and they're actually too close to it to be able to see the answer. Whereas somebody with an external perspective can walk in there and go, mate, I can see this clear as day.
Just turn this one 5 degrees to
Yep.
the left and you're off.
And you're away.
Yeah, that's it.
And that is the magic of the external perspective. And
That's
this, I
it.
guess, circles all the way back round to where we talk about the support of other companies, other business owners, having people to talk to. And,
That's it.
And having the capacity to bounce ideas.
100%.
Because a lot of it is just from that. And I don't know if you've had this experience, but I've found over the years, all my friends have become, my close-knit group of friends, they're basically all business owners.
Yeah, that's it.
Because
That's
we all
what
speak the same
happens.
language.
Yep.
And like we all get it. And we're all sympathetic to the
Yep.
stupidity and the complexities of it.
Yeah.
Have you had a similar
Yeah, definitely.
experience where
Yeah.
like they're just that's just your jam and they're your people and
That's exactly. Yeah, most
Yeah.
of the people that I associate with now
Yeah.
are either, in relationships with business
Yeah.
owners, so doing it sort of semi-vicariously,
Yeah.
or in the thick of it with us.
in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Because I did find that people with sensible, stable employment and who know where their next dollar's coming from
Yeah, look,
don't really understand.
they don't. And my husband, I love him to death. Some of the stuff, he'll see me working on something. He's like, I don't. I'm like, no, this is long game stuff. And he's like, okay, I trust you. You go do that. Yeah. Because, HR director, steady paycheck.
Yeah.
Has always been amazing at what he does.
And
Doesn't.
climb the ranks through the machine.
Yeah, that's it.
But like
This is different.
we don't want the
foreign.
machine.
No,
Yeah.
no
And none of
machines,
it
thanks.
makes sense. And my wife's the same. She's has spent her life in the machine, and she
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
at me and she's like, "Mate, you just run a 3-ring circus over there." So, and I'm like, "Look, I kind of do."
We're all running a 3-ring circus, really.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it does. It looks so bizarre.
It does.
So much of what we do is just
Yeah.
silly.
Yeah, and I love going in and working with other organisations because it's the same. You know.
Oh, totally.
It's the same.
Oh man, every business I go into, big, small, or otherwise.
Yeah.
This was one of the great things when I first started working for much bigger companies. It just when I was still an employee before I sort of had the courage to have a crack at it myself. Once I got into like enormous multinational companies, I was horrified at what a shit show places were.
Yeah.
And like gross incompetence across levels and incompetence that gets promoted. And
Right.
this is my joke was incompetence is rewarded.
Yeah.
And
It seems that way.
effort is punished because
Right.
the dumb person will get promoted to somewhere that they don't really do much,
Yeah.
and they can just sort of run around in circles,
Yeah.
throwing poo at each other like monkeys in the zoo.
Legit.
And the poor people who are actually competent get flooded with all those incompetent people's work, and
Yeah.
then they get burned into the ground because they're doing 7 people's jobs.
That's right. That's what happens.
And that's what I have seen pretty much anywhere I've ever looked.
Yeah.
It's hard to find examples
Where it's not
where
that.
it's not
Yeah.
like that.
And if you're listening and you think you're not that, are you?
Yeah. Because the incompetence that I have seen rewarded over the years in multiple organisations has horrified me.
Scary. Wild.
Where it's too hard to sack people.
That's what happens.
And
It
it's
is
too hard
yeah.
to get rid of them. And so rather than sacking them, they get further up the food chain
Mm-hmm.
and end up making like critical decisions.
Yeah.
But they reek of incompetence.
Yeah.
And they're in charge.
Scary.
And you're like, oh,
Scary.
wow. Because it's not dictated by output,
No, it's not.
which at least in small business, you know, you live or die by
That's right. So
your
we gotta
output.
watch
Mate, you gotta
everything.
be real good.
Yeah, that's right.
Otherwise, it's game over.
Exactly. I mean, nobody wants that.
No, and you know the 90-something% of businesses that also fail
Correct.
are
Yeah.
acutely aware that it doesn't always work the first time, the second time, the third time. Like it's, I think
all
this
true.
is why I jump up and down about all these.
Yeah,
things,
oh,
because
absolutely.
it is brutally difficult.
That's right. Yeah,
And
it is.
So I guess this is why I'm excited about positive solutions, small things that can be implemented, and also stuff that can be implemented relatively easily, relatively inexpensively. Like that's the sort of stuff that I get really excited about.
Yeah, and there's so many things you can do that you can do once and just replicate. It's, yeah, the sky's the limit.
Hit me with some of those. Give me some real examples. That sounded super flowery, and I'd love a real example. I'm going to hold you to that.
Did you just have a dig at my fluffiness?
Mate,
Is
I did.
that-
I don't want to hear that rubbish. Don't sell me. No fluff.
Okay, so how could you improve? Okay,
Please.
It's coming back at you again.
Oh, I love it.
How could you improve your client experience right now? Like before you leave this room? For every client.
I don't know.
Are you sure?
Yep. I don't know. I'm sure I could think of something, but you've broken my brain here. I have an empty gaping void between my ears.
Okay.
Because I don't know how it could get any better than working with me.
Oh, look,
zing,
no,
zing,
legit.
zing, zing,
Okay.
zing. Look, because
So-
I add comedy and intelligence and
It's
bad
true.
fashion. Like I bring all these things to the room.
So, does every client receive a pair of your signature Crocs?
Absolutely not, because most of them do also like to point out the holes where my dignity leaks out.
Okay. What if it wasn't the Crocs?
I don't know what it would be.
What-
Talk me through. What are you proposing here?
Okay. So, what a lot of businesses are really good is taking a client's money, performing to a high standard. They don't add, one of my clients likes to say, adding the sparkle, right? So, to create raving fans,
I could send them glitter bombs.
you could. Look, I actually probably would do that. And every time I bring it up with my coaches, they're like, no, Amanda, you're not going to do that.
Actually, I did receive an invitation that had sparkly metal things in it. And
Oh,
if
and how
people-
did you feel about that?
People could never do that again.
Okay, see,
that
that's
would
what
be
I was
the
thinking.
Greatest. It pissed me off, and I found
Yeah.
those stupid things. Because you pull it out, and it's like, and there's stuff everywhere.
Yeah. Not as endearing as intended,
No,
right?
like I get it. You put the sparkly things in, and it was going to be all sparkly when you open the invite, and I'm like, man, this sucks so bad.
I got to clean that up now.
Yeah, you've really made a mess.
Okay.
Okay, so how do we add value to every client before leaving this room? I'm intrigued.
So what could you give them so that they feel like they're the most important person or client or business in the world?
I have no idea.
Let's change that.
Got any ideas?
I mean, I have plenty. I want it to be your idea because if it's your idea, you're going to implement it. Not because Amanda told you so.
No, I'm interested. That's what I'm asking. I don't know. I don't know. I just try to do what I am capable of to the best of my ability by staying in my lane. I try not to add anything extra. What I add extra is I like to look for opportunities that may not have been seen otherwise.
Okay.
And then present said opportunity to the client and go, hey, have you thought about this?
Right.
And often to my detriment. I may not be charging them extra for it. I might just be doing it just to help, just to go, hey, like this is like we've totally got to do this because this will be awesome. Let's try it. To me, that's my jam. That's what I deliver to people.
No,
that I
that's
work
awesome.
with, is that I go, if you're going to have me, this is why you have me.
No, that's great. And that could be the thing.
I would suggest that's
the
my
thing.
sparkle. My
There you go.
sparkle is that because I am never settled and I'm always looking for the next thing. And once I solve the problems and once I get their operation humming and I attack whatever problem it is they have, I will then start looking at far more intricate, complex things that I can add that add the additional fractions of a percent, which only the best of the best ever get to.
Yes.
Because the fundamentals are usually so potato that you've got to fix all those first and then you've got to bed them in and then there's a couple of years of work. But like once you get to the other side of that, once all the fundamentals work beautifully and there's a beautiful foundation to build on, then you can really start looking at doing fancy stuff. And I love going down that rabbit hole.
Amazing.
Because to me, that's just sport.
Yeah, well, that's your sparkle, good sir. That's it.
Is looking for the opportunity. So I already do that.
Awesome.
That's my jam.
So for everyone listening at home, what's your sparkle? What is your thing that you can do better than anyone else on the planet, like Scott's example that he gave to us?
What's your sparkle, Amanda?
My sparkle?
You better have a really fast answer. You should be able to think about this.
I am not dissimilar to you. I'm always looking for the next opportunity for them. So it's not just about, hey, I'm going to come in and deliver time management training because that's what you need. No. We're going to look at the whole solution here. And Scott, you need to charge appropriately. I'm gonna sideline you on that.
I'm quite bad at that.
Yeah.
I quite often give that solid gold away for nothing.
Yeah, look. Also.
But I can't help it.
I've given him a stern look for you, team, playing at home. Stern look.
Sorry.
But I'm not dissimilar. It's about, okay, yes, I will absolutely help you with the thing that you need help with right now. What is the next thing? Because when we fix this, we've still got a whole ecosystem going on there.
And that's the thing is I've seen across, and you'd be the same, when you have the capacity to work across a great number of businesses and see a great lot of things and implement a great number of things, you have a fairly deep archive of things that will work. Go, have you considered? Because you go, all right, it might not be your industry. It might be something from a total other facet. But you go, look, I've seen this work very well. I can see parallels. Have you tried? Why don't we do this?
That's it.
And those are the things that I really love about what I do is that I get to go really deep in like almost every channel. You know, when you scroll through and they go, what is your business? Is it agriculture, finance, comms? Like if I looked at any one of those of all the things that they list, odds are I have unusual expertise in just about all of them.
Right, yeah. I'm getting up to that too now. It's crazy.
Because you work across industries. And whenever I go there, I quite often find, look, sometimes people are excited to tell you about it, but like I'm really stoked. I'm like, tell me about this thingamajig. Tell me about the process of making the thingamajigs. How do you even design them? Where does it start? How do you cut it? Like endlessly interested in stuff.
Yeah.
Endlessly
stuff
interested.
works.
How stuff works, how it gets there, why it's
Yeah.
done that way, why would you do it like that, why is it made of that, why does it go that way, I love it. Like, and next to me here, and you noticed like my Apple
I
CD when you
did,
walked
yeah.
in. I love obscurity. I love design. I love, implementation, execution. Like, I love like the doing, the making.
Yeah.
And then, why were things done that specific way? I love the story. They're all the things that float my boat.
It's good stuff.
Which is why I enjoy and run down all those rabbit holes.
Yes. Yeah.
But then also can't help, continuing
Yeah.
down those rabbit holes.
With the solutions, right? Like, here's a thing that
Here's a
does
thing.
this. What if it did that at 80% better? Wild.
Out of control.
I know.
I know.
So wild.
Yep. I am also interested to understand where you as a business are going. So the culture cure.
Yes.
So, are you only curing one at a time? Are you going to start curing a lot of people?
No, there's a global pandemic.
There's
I
a
know I
global
went
pandemic
down
of
there.
culture. Yeah, well, my culture is shit house.
Not true, sir.
It's
Not
very
true.
childish.
That's why we love it.
Frat house.
No, a culture of play. More businesses need that.
Yeah, no, we're pretty good.
Absolutely.
My favourite was my business partner answered the door with no shoes on. And he was like, mate, if you could have told me we had a guest, I would have at least put shoes on. to
I
apply
respect
some
this.
context of...
Is he comfortable? Is he happy? Then he's
look, he
doing
was
his best work.
super comfortable.
He's happy. He's a happy man.
But it demonstrates the level of professionalism that we don't have here.
Professionalism is one of those things that is...
Look, I think
You
it's
know.
grossly overrated.
Yeah, look.
Grossly
Have you
overrated.
seen my hair?
I have. and look, it's unicorn inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Galaxy,
Yeah, galaxy.
unicorn,
Like, I mean, we got
mermaids. I don't know.
blues,
That whole
and
vibe.
we got purples, and we've got like almost
Yeah.
electric purples.
Yes.
But
Unprofessional
my
to the max.
question that we've rapidly got away from
Look,
was
guilty.
taking the cure
Yes.
further and wider. Amanda, tell me what's going on there.
Yeah, so I did mention I've been in sprint mode, project mode.
I picked up on that.
Yeah, guilty.
Picking
yeah.
up what you're putting down.
Yeah, nice one. So I've been working on, so at the moment, and like most business owners, I'm sure if you're not there yet, you will be. Trust me, and Scott's been there, stuck in delivery. I'm delivering 5 days a week pretty much at the moment. So how do you scale when you have,
When you're on the grind.
yeah, that's
And it's
it.
only you. And you can
That's
only
it.
replicate you
Exactly.
by the number of hours that you can sell, which is a terrible way to try and grow a business.
That's wild. So I have been delving into the online space. So I'm currently creating a leadership course. So my big thing, just to, I guess, kind of backtrack into how I got to where I am. So when I was working for the man, like we were talking about earlier, I was working in a leadership role. At 24, I was managing a retail store. And I remember I felt I was doing a really good job as a manager of people. To a point, systems, processes, how to manage a business, how to lead people. I was screaming for the tools of leadership and how to, take that store to the next level. And I was just never really given that support. And what that resulted in was me being made redundant after about 12 months. And another store manager who was kicking goals coming in and taking my place. And that's fine.
What was the metric that was measured on?
So it would have been sales performance, basically. Yeah.
Don't we usually just blame marketing for that?
Oh, look, we used to.
Used to in the good
Yeah.
old days. Now we
Yeah.
just blame the manager.
I honestly believe with the right tools, I would have had a much better
Because
outcome.
I'm fascinated in that, and I'm not looking to throw your previous employer under the bus, but I'm also simultaneously looking to understand how you as a manager, so obviously people will come into a, bricks and mortar. They have
Yeah.
and from my side,
Yeah.
they have already researched. So when we talk about their trip down the funnel, they're a pretty bloody long way down the funnel. They're at
even
the
back
point,
then they were because
Correct.
internet
Where
they're
they're
still a thing.
You know, they're coming in, they're testing, they're holding, they're
Yeah.
deciding, they're at price negotiation or understanding if they want this one or that one, which is where then the expertise of the retail staff.
That's it.
If it was just pure sales, because was that measured on a people that came in the door versus dollars in the door, or just a monthly turnover, or what's the broad strokes?
Door count was a consideration.
Yeah.
Also, the guy that took over from me, his store had a lower door count than mine, and he was writing more than me.
Really?
Yeah.
And did they have, and I'm just, again, for my own interest, like, did they have a more thorough strategy for sales? Did they have a better, do you think that
So I was probably, and this is what we were alluding to before, I was carrot, he was stick.
Okay. So you're a bit kinder.
Yes.
And you just wanted the whole vibe to be beautiful and for it to be a lovely experience for staff and customers.
That's right.
But that didn't reflect in the bottom line.
No.
So corporate goes, Poop Town, you're out.
Yes.
We're going to whip this horse until it sells more.
Yeah.
Which, look, let's be honest, at a corporate decision,
Oh,
sadly,
absolutely.
and this is where, and again, this is why I can't do what you do. Like, warm and fluffy doesn't work for me. Because
And I get that, yeah.
when the bank account is bad, people lose their jobs.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. So for me, that because I was so stuck in that people focus, if you like, or the fluffy place, and I wasn't given
the tools
of
and
leadership,
the framework of how do we push them a little bit harder.
Yeah.
So carrot and the stick. Do you find that you use a combination?
So now and this is the funny thing. I thought me leading anyone was a complete lost cause at that point because, I'd shown some promise and basically was told, yeah, we were wrong. Bye.
And that's brutal. And those moments in time are horrible. As someone who has also been made redundant, and not just once, and redundant was more, we don't like you anymore.
Ew.
This is a polite way to say fuck off.
Yeah.
Well, that's certainly how I felt.
Yeah.
They're really hard lessons. And
100%.
particularly in your 20s as well. You're trying to...
I was 24, I think.
Yeah, right in the guts. Because you are starting to stand on your own 2 feet.
Exactly.
More seniority.
Yeah.
And then bam.
Yeah, that's it. And the best thing that could, now I will sit here and tell you it was the best thing that could have happened to me.
Always.
So, a little bit further down the track, I decided to, maybe a couple of years later, I'd always wanted to go to film school because I'm a creative at heart as well. Hence the fluffiness. I apologise. Also, love the fluffiness. You're like, data.
The
Give
soft
me
skills.
data.
No, man. I'm all about that.
I digress. So I actually went back to part-time and went to SAE, went and studied at SAE.
Is that the one in West End?
Yeah, West End.
Ah.
Yes.
Mate, they have wonderful facilities there.
It was,
I have had the
amazing.
opportunity to tour.
ooh,
there.
nice.
I went and saw somebody speak there as well.
Oh, cool.
Because they've got the little cinema and stuff.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, man, that place is kitted out.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. It was an awesome place to study. I'm still in contact with my lecturers there,
Nice.
8 years later, whatever it is now. But for me, film school showed me that, yes, I can be a leader. And, I had a couple of extra years, development under my belt at that point. It's such a weird...
How did it do that? Tell me, because again, you're throwing big...
I know.
It made me a better leader. How?
Tell me the how, Amanda.
Help me. Output.
Okay, so I love being behind the camera and not operating it. So I wanted to produce our end of year,
Your slate.
Yes, project.
I know the lingo.
You know the lingo. So we had come up with a concept for a schlock horror film about a killer lawnmower called Keep Off the Grass.
What does schlock mean?
So, don't take it entirely seriously. So it's a vibe. I'll send you a link to it. It's great.
Cool. I'd love
I love
to
it.
see that.
I would love to make it into a feature one day, actually. It'd be amazing.
I know some people.
Yeah, right. You do know some people. I have the rights to it. I actually inquired about
I'll send
that.
it to Screen Queensland.
Yeah. Okay, done. Killer lawnmower. That's exactly what we need right now.
Look, if it's a Scott Bonner Or if it's a zero turn, I could really get behind this.
Okay, let's do it.
right,
Okay.
sorry, man.
Sorry, we're
Off
just
topic
planning.
again. Look at us go.
Oh, look.
Sorry.
So I got thrown into a position where, so I'm producing this film and, you know, I had Scott, my lecturer, he was executive producing to make sure the wheels didn't fall off. Also, I've got this team of people looking to me to pull this project off. And we decided as a team, we wanted to do it to a high standard. So I had to just step up. It forced me to step up. When you've got an output that has your name on it, and you know, I don't need to tell you this, you want it to be the best it can be. So that I learnt, you know, overshooting, we must have shot it over 6 weeks. There were, you know, late nights because it's a horror, so a lot of it was at night. We made intestines out of sausages and fake blood and all this gooey stuff, and it got to 4 a.m. on the first night shoot and we ran over and we had to bag those intestines up, those stinky intestines, and put them in the fridge for a week. So when we came back the next week, I can still smell it. You think you've smelt rancid? Not until you have smelt fake intestines made of sausages. I digress.
Oh, what a story.
Just leading a group of people through that, yeah, I can be a leader. And just on my journey so I then decided, okay, and I will get back into film. That's my long-term goal. Turns out you need money to make films.
Whoops.
Oh. So I'm like, okay, I need to get into business for myself because a wage is not going to pay for my film career, I decided. So then Amanda started her own, I did video production for a while. Then I did life coaching, and then I got into more of the corporate. I got asked more to do corporate gigs, especially sort of around the start of the pandemic. So I just slid right on in to corporate facilitation. And then some of the tools and systems and processes that I was using, I was working with a lot of younger leaders. I'm like, that's a massive issue in culture. We're not training our leaders, and I've lived this firsthand. So a big thing for me, as much as I want my business to crush it, if I can help leaders have what I didn't have in the process, hence my online leadership program, which is launching very, very shortly.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because grossly unsupported is what I've always felt.
There you go.
Because I didn't have the tools, I've just had to keep stuffing it up.
That's it, yeah.
That's been my learning, and I'm sure it's the learning of many other.
So many.
Because I talked to my accountant about it, and I'm like, oh, mate, couldn't be worse than this, could it? And then they go, they're like, you're the Diet Coke of stuffing it up, mate. Let me tell you a story.
Oh, no.
And look, honestly, some of those horror stories really make you feel better, and you're like, yeah, wow, no, we've actually really got it together. Like, we're
That's
actually
cool.
functioning quite well.
That's a good feeling.
We're very hard on ourselves, but like, and in the scale of things, as catastrophic as some of those occasions can be, and but it's lovely that you're there to try and bring that to people, so that you've, as you said, you've got that lived experience. You've gone out, you've done a few more things, you've put some more training under your belt.
That's it.
You discovered leadership through film, which I've got to be honest with you, is a very good place to find it, because producing in film is a very complex job, and there are very few people that do it well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And, my producer here, Lauren, she's, in terms of what we do, she's the best I've ever worked with.
Amazing.
And she's currently on maternity leave for the second time, and I'm always sad when she because we miss her and we work so wonderfully together. Mm-hmm. But that is such a complex role, because you have to be phenomenally organised.
You do.
You also have to understand commercial production.
You do.
You then also have to understand both the artistic side and the commercial side, And on the artistic side, you have to understand each intricate part that a different person from a different company from a different all
That's
does
right.
differently. And
Yep.
all those parts have to merge.
Yep.
And if they don't merge, it doesn't work. Like down to the fact that you'll have a camera operator and a focus puller. So, you've got two people operating a camera, but the things, if they don't work in harmony, and getting your director and your lighting design and your, on and on and on and on it goes, I couldn't think of a better place to learn team dynamic and team
That's
management
it.
than on a film set.
I don't think
I would
there
actually,
is.
I really
I would
struggle
argue that there isn't anywhere better.
because it's really high pressure too. Because
That's it, yeah.
you've got months of planning.
Yep.
Like you routinely put months and months and months of what's it going to look like, what time
Yep.
of day, where are we going to be, what are the logistics, where's the nearest thing, where
It's crazy.
all
Yeah.
this stuff, all of these, much like your intestines that you had to make, and that's
Yes.
just one thing out of the many things that have to happen. But all of that has to work seamlessly, and when it doesn't work seamlessly, you need to calmly and effectively go, this isn't working, and in real time provide solutions while keeping everybody else calm and moving forward.
Yes. Yeah.
I actually couldn't think of any better preparation. Like nothing. I really,
Yeah.
certainly out of stuff that I know. But like I couldn't think of better preparation. So it actually makes a lot of sense in terms of where you've gone when we look at your forward trajectory
Yes.
into understanding corporate culture, understanding how it works, what the levers are,
Yeah.
what the pain points are, and then
Yes.
what the effective solutions are. It all makes sense now.
There you go. Crazy.
See, we've totally figured all this out.
Look at us go.
That is amazing.
We're pretty good.
Yeah. Look, we're
Goes
doing-
all right.
We're doing okay. I am a little bit lost here because we've actually answered a lot of my questions, but I don't feel like we're done. And this is that's an odd place to get to.
Tell me more.
In the podcast. I don't know, because this is where I guess we're probably freestyling a little bit here.
Guilty.
Guilty. Because I feel like, as you said, you've got other aspirations, and this is probably where I'm freestyling a little bit. Where's this all going?
Where's it going?
Where's it all going, Amanda?
It's a great question.
And I think that's why I'm sort of having to jump off track, because I get the vibe that there's so much more to come.
Oh, there is. That's the goal. That's the plan. So for me, the culture cure, as much as I love working one-on-one with clients and organizations, I want to make as much information available, not information, practical tools, systems and processes that, Scott, you could pick up a thing and go and run with it and change your world so that you're not just, suffering through a particular thing.
What if I don't realise anything's wrong?
Well, that's a great question. So that's where marketing for me will come into it. So people that are not problem aware or challenge aware, that will be one of my biggest, or has been one of my biggest marketing challenges. So what does the problem look like without them realizing it's a problem? Yeah. So making people aware that is actually a thing that we can solve for, and your life will be infinitely better because of it, or your business or your team or whatever that might be. So being able to make my courses available to more people, or not just my courses, but my knowledge. So what I've been through and what I see out there in the wild every single day, sharing that with as many people as possible through courses, through speaking on stage. I'd love to speak on stage as well. I've done a little bit of it, but, I've capped out at 3,000. We'll get to 30,000. We'll get there.
3,000 is pretty solid.
Yeah, look, goes all right. Yeah,
What was that for?
goes all right. That was actually, who was I speaking for? It wasn't technically in the Culture Cure vein. I was
That's all right.
hosting...
Facilitating.
facilitating Chemist Warehouse Christmas party.
Look at that.
That was pretty fun. We were doing trivia.
That's cool.
Yeah, so...
Hang on, mate. You got trivia skills in there as well?
I do. Look, so many skills.
Get out.
Yes. Where were we going with that? Yeah, so
where are you taking all this and the journey? So you're going to look to, I guess, so broaden your offering.
That's right. Yeah. To make it available to more people that need it and at multiple levels. So one of my good mates, Paul, he talks about democratizing access to things. So giving people different, there's a $47 thing that will solve that problem for you. If you want more help to do that, then you come in at a higher level the further up you go. But just giving people solutions to things that they can access, whether they're a small business owner or a multinational corporation.
Because where do you find, like, your ideal client, and I'm sure you spend time on this, because as I think about my own small business journey, which is, I guess, is the easiest point to reflect on, for most of it, you're just trying to get work in, then trying to get work out, then trying to get more work in, then trying to get more work out. And I guess I'm more professional services, but like, let's say you're a bakery or you're cutting hair or you're just trying to get bums on seats and turn the thing over. At what point do people generally need or generally start to access this sort of stuff? Where do you find that kicks in?
So do you mean, so tell me more. So
to access an Amanda or a culture cure,
right?
At what point in a journey would people be considering that? Like where does that happen?
So as a business owner,
as a business owner, because again, I'm thinking about other small business owners that are listening that are going, is that me, or do I need that? Do I?
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. So, and that was the other reason for me going down this road, is to make it accessible to more people. So if you, for example, we were talking earlier about setting up our teams to win so that everyone knows what a winning situation would look like in their job role. So I have a $47 product, which is called the Staff Success Blueprint. In 5 days, set your team up to win.
Solid.
So, I mean, if you have a team of 3 and you can find $47, you're set.
And see, that is a lovely low barrier to entry and not too much time.
Right.
Because a lot of these questions, even the do I even need this and those sorts of things as well, they will come down to, as you are just a little in and out business. They're tough decisions because they don't reflect directly on the P&L.
100%.
If you are not paying the wage, buying the product, money's either going in or out.
That's it.
And there's rarely wiggle room, particularly at the earlier small business stages, where it is very hand to mouth.
Yep, that's right.
And that was, so with that sort of product, again, where in the cycle? I mean, are you at year 1, year 3, year 5, year 10? Like where does it really kick in to become crucially important, where you should have done it from that point? I'm interested in your opinion.
Yesterday.
Yesterday. So if I had had a culture decision with you before I started, I could have potentially managed people better all these years.
Well, okay. So getting into, everyone's different is the way I want to answer it. So once you start to have 2 to 3 people, whether they're contractors or employees.
Or fellow owners,
you need to understand team dynamics. You need to understand how to lead people and how to work together efficiently. So that's when you need to either, and I would encourage you, get that information wherever you need to get it from. You need to have a grasp of that, or you're in for a world of pain. Scott has demonstrated.
What does that look like? I mean, are we talking like disc profile thing? Like, where do we even start? This is so far outside my world that you might as well be speaking Dutch.
No, that's okay. So starting with understanding where you are right now. So what is working and what are the opportunities? So that's what I would always sit. So if we were doing a consulting engagement, for example.
Consult away.
That's what I would say to you.
I just saved $47. So, because I've got you here.
This guy. So it's all about, okay, let's focus on what's working and then what are our opportunities. And when I say opportunity, what's keeping you up at night? Because there's no such thing as a problem, only an opportunity, right? What's keeping you awake at night?
In particular, making sure things don't slip through the cracks.
Right.
So, that sparkle that I was talking to you about?
Yeah.
Making sure that everything gets the sparkle. So
Yeah,
not
okay.
just the things I have a direct eye over.
Right.
How do I make sure the sparkle has continuity
Right.
across directors who are wildly different?
100%. So have you agreed on what a standardized sparkle looks like?
Absolutely not. We've only referenced that for the first time today.
Ta-da! That would be your first step.
Right.
So deciding...
This is like making a position description, like
Stop
stuff
it.
you should do at the start.
No.
Amanda,
I know.
I'm learning.
Madness. So that would be,
Yeah,
again, and so much of it comes back to a crucial few things.
Is this in the blueprint? This
little
feels
bit.
like an ad, but it's not an ad. I
No.
actually didn't know about
The
this.
crucial thing is, what does a win look like? So if I'm delivering Sparkle to Scott's standard, I would like to know what Scott's standard is. So
It's reasonably unachievable. No, I'm just being a smart.
So Scott needs to lower his standard.
The standard would be quite often it's where the person that you are working with or speaking to go, oh wow, that's like they're
Yeah.
genuinely surprised
Yep.
at what they receive,
Right.
At the information, the whatever it is,
Yeah.
genuinely surprised.
Amazing. So you would provide the team with examples of what WOW has looked like in the past. You would give examples of, if I was not in on this session, this is how I would wow this client.
Do you know what it is? And this is why it's good to talk about it.
Mm.
It is something that I first learned from Lexus called unexpected delight.
There it is. Yep.
If you are familiar with their concept
Yes.
of that, where they
Yep.
go over and above for at specific moments in time, like they systemized it. But
Yes. Yep. And you can systemize magic.
Yeah.
It's achievable.
But their whole thing was to provide customers, because if you're old enough to cast your mind back to the 90s and other
Yeah.
O's where they really started having a good push at it,
Yeah.
the idea of a Japanese luxury car was a bit comical.
Yes.
Because a luxury car could only come from Europe.
Yes.
And if you chose to buy a luxury car from Japan, that wasn't a luxury car.
No.
So they put a lot of effort into caring for their customers in a way that their competitors didn't.
Yes. Yep.
They just sort of did a lot of the same things that they used to. But Lexus would go to the trouble to understand them, build a deeper customer profile, and then find ways to specifically tailor things to the individual.
Yes. That's it.
And look, I think they've actually continued to do that reasonably well. I don't own any of their new products, so I can't really speak to that. But they did it so well that they became an example of how to do it.
Yes. And that's what you need to replicate.
Look at me unlocking what I should be doing.
This guy.
Do you know, and this is the same. It's exactly the same as when you go to therapy. You already have all the answers inside.
You do have
and
all
it's
the
really
answers.
annoying. I don't want the answers inside me. I want someone else to fix it.
Just fix it for me, please.
Super annoying. Okay, so you've got to find out how to replicate the sparkle of your business.
That's right. Yep.
And it might just even be because, and I don't know why I keep thinking of it. Maybe I'm hungry, but like at the bakery, if
Ooh,
you're
baked goods.
you're a customer facing, but it would just be in the way that you engage each person.
That's right.
And
Yep.
the smile, the glint in your eye, the spring in your step,
Yep.
as well as the delicious baked goods.
Yes.
But there would potentially be an approach or the same way as
That's it.
how your team answer the phone, how they respond to an
Exactly.
email, how they deal with a crisis.
Use people's names,
There is
like
a way.
all of that stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
there is a way to do it.
There is. There is.
And see, this is this cure that we're putting forward. So there kind of needs to be like a starter pack for the business owner that doesn't know what they're doing. And they might have been doing it for 14 years and they still need the starter pack.
Except he has all the answers inside of him.
Yeah, but he doesn't even know what questions to ask.
And that's it,
and
isn't it?
This is routinely the problem. This is the small business problem, is that for the most part, myself and the other people, we don't even know what to ask
We
because
don't.
we're not even aware.
That's right. Yeah.
What was your comment before? Problem aware.
Yeah, that's right.
I've never heard that before. That's a cracker.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Absolute cracker. Where does that come from? Is that
No, I will not take credit for that. I think one of my marketing coaches.
Yeah.
I don't want to put a name on it in case
No.
I quote the wrong human.
And they might have pulled it from somewhere as well.
Probably. That's
But-
usually how it works.
Absolutely. But I thought that was a really intelligent way to phrase those blind spots
Yes. Yeah.
that we have.
It is. Yeah.
And
We're not problem aware.
No, because this is the great challenge. You go into business because you're like, I'm really good at this thing. And then you open a business to do that thing. And then 90% of what you need to do is not that thing.
It's crazy.
Which is
no one tells us
super
this.
annoying. Well,
No one
actually,
tells
no,
us.
they do. They go, that won't work. That's a terrible idea.
Scott says that. Scott
yeah.
will tell you that.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's what my parents said. And that's what my friends said. And,
And here we are.
Plenty of that. No, they still think it's terrible. But that was the sort of information that I received.
Right.
Is that it's a terrible idea. And then not much more after that. I think that's a really... It'd be lovely to hear from people, I guess, in Brisbane small business to get whether they've had a similar journey, whether they've seen a better way to map it out, just where you actually go to get these things. Because I've found, like, pretty much everything I've learned is just, again, from meeting people, talking to people,
That's it. Yeah.
and learning from the experience of others,
Yes.
and
yeah.
going, hey, have you done this before?
That's it.
And I've found that to generally be...
Well, that's how you go faster, right?
Yeah.
Follow the path that someone else has worn. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to keep asking,
Yep.
what is it? Learning to ask better questions.
That's it. Yes.
Isn't that the one?
It is the one.
So I've got to continue to ask better questions.
Yeah.
Now, we're in the year 2023. We're more than halfway through the year. You're at the helm of BSB now.
Yes.
What is the back half of 2023 going to look like, and what can we expect in 2024?
That's a great question. So, those of you that aren't across what we do as a community group, so we have the Platinum Club. So that's an opportunity to further promote your business to the community, and that for me is something I feel has been neglected in the past. So for me, yes, you've got the opportunity to promote to the community. Also, what can we do to help you be more problem aware, ask better questions, and solve some of those challenges that you're experiencing? So we've implemented masterclasses and masterminds. So there is a mastermind session that I host once a month, and that's all about, hey, come to the group with your challenges. There's a bunch of other business owners that have been through the trenches as well that'll be on the call, and we'll solve the problem together, or at least point you in the right direction.
And when does that happen? Is there a day of the week, or is there a scheduled...
It's normally the last Monday of the month. Don't quote me on that.
No, no, that's all right. I won't hold you to it. I was just...
I'll put it in the show notes.
I'll put it in the show notes because
Yes.
I actually didn't know this. And
There you go.
I probably should, but see, I'm not paying attention and there's too much information and there's 73 other tabs open.
Yeah, look, also we need to have a better system and a process in place for promoting so that people know what is available to them. So there's that as well. Also, masterclass. So that's the mastermind session. There's a masterclass where we'll have guest speakers come in and speak to solve a specific challenge. So this month we're talking about artificial intelligence. So really basic, let's get you online with ChatGPT or something equivalent and create some efficiencies in your business using AI. So really basic, valuable stuff to get people moving forward in that realm. AI is scary in a cool way. Like there's a lot of cool stuff coming through. And I encourage small business owners to be across what's happening. So that's another piece. So education. So making sure people know just what's happening out in the world, because we can become quite, like you alluded to before, just in our business, we can have the blinkers on to what's going on sort of out there. So sort of between myself and you and the rest of the leadership team, understanding, you know, what's going on in the world and, hey, let's make sure that everyone's aware of it, making sure that people are aware of services that are available in Brisbane and around the rest of Australia that we can access, any grants like you were talking about earlier, any funding, any other opportunities, support services. There's a lot of free support services that we're going to start bringing forward so that people know what's available to them. There is a lot of the government and one of the chamber organisations have started doing some stuff, which is really cool, which we'll start bringing forward for people to check out. So what else are we doing? We'll continue with our monthly networking events, finding a way, and please, anyone reach out to me if you have ideas for those, because if it were up to me, we'd just go down to Dreamworld every month and just have a fat time. Also, apparently we should have education and stuff. So Scott's like, probably.
My number one goal for midweek activity
Yeah.
is the local bowls club.
Okay, done. We're doing that.
It's really good. I actually moved the PNC meetings there.
Okay.
Attendance went through the roof because there was beers.
That's amazing. Okay, I'm slating that in. That's down. That's happening. So that, and also, so we've got our 12-week business building program called The Recipe. Those of you that have been following in the group, you may be across that. If not, please check it out. So for those of you that are looking to
Recipe to build your business.
the recipe to build your business, that's exactly it. If you
which is terrific.
if you need to kickstart,
And you've got quite a few people in that already. You've got a number of business owners that are in that working their way through it. Because this is, what are you up to? Your first or your second cohort of
so
businesses?
second cohort kicks off in a couple of weeks.
Full on.
Week 9 of the first cohort. And just
Week 9. That's crazy. How long's the program?
12-week program.
Far out. I think we should also jump in just quickly and go down the rabbit hole on this one.
Yeah.
How have you found that? So this is 9 weeks into your first time. You're running the show. How's that been? How's that process been?
Amazing. So those of you that don't know, so Kevin Gammy started Brisbane Small Business all of those years ago, and he has started his own business in the last few years called Chew Proof Dog Beds. So he's been on this journey along with another gentleman called Phil Singos. He's runs, oh my goodness, I'm blanking on his business name. Help me. Support Worker Hub. I got it. He's gone on the same trajectory that Kevin has. So they've experienced fast growth under the leadership and mentorship of a gentleman called Steve Scroggins, who was a big deal back in the 90s. He created a business called Chefs on the Run, and then multiple other businesses under that banner, multi-million-dollar businesses. So basically what Kevin and I have done have put all of that knowledge between Steve, Phil, and Kevin and created a 12-week program so that people can come through and learn what Kevin and Phil learnt from Steve so that they can put their business on a fast track. So it's learning from the mistakes and the challenges of other people. Like we said, so you can go faster. That's what it's all about. So sales and marketing and building relationships is really what it's all about. And it's the biggest thing that I've seen, holding people accountable to building their business for 12 weeks in a sprint style environment where we're like, this week we're doing this and this and this, and have you done your activity? And as much as Amanda's a people pleaser, if you haven't done your weekly activity, I will come down on you. You better believe it. So that's our story.
That actually opens up a reasonably good talking point.
Yeah.
Where as a business owner, you need to self-manage and self-regulate, which we were talking about we have no capacity to do, which is why we have 25-minute timers.
Yep. That's right.
But there is nobody checking in on you.
No, there's not.
There's no whip, there's no carrot,
Nope.
there's no nothing.
That's right.
The whip and the carrot is no money or some money.
That literally,
seem to be the primary motivators.
Yeah.
So that having a supportive, collaborative environment of other business owners where you sit down together.
Yes.
Because you do this physically in person here in Brisbane, don't you?
We do, yes. Physically in person. Yep.
I feel like I've missed the boat on this. And then you turn up, and so you set goals based on where you are in your business.
That's right.
So it doesn't matter if you're new, done it before, looking to start something else.
That's right. Like
just
even
looking to fine tune.
Yeah, exactly. Even someone like yourself would get so much benefit from it because it's very specific business building activities out of each of the 12 weeks.
Gotcha.
So even if you think you've done it all, seen it all, getting back to basics. Yeah, exactly.
You've never done it all and seen it all.
That's
and if
right.
you think you have, it's time to stop.
Exactly. Literally. So yeah, getting back to those basics and asking those questions that you've probably never asked before and being challenged by the other people around you and supported, and you've got access to all of those people's networks. The amount of times I've been in that room and someone's gone, oh, well, actually, I know someone that does that. And we don't even have to solve a problem. It just gets solved in that moment.
You've got 12 business owners in the room.
You do.
That's a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, it is.
And that's that is one of the problems, is that we all float around in our little silos.
We do. Yeah, that's
Whereas
it.
you've provided a place to actually work and deliver.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So you have developed a supportive framework. And again, it's for a reasonable duration, so not too short where you won't see an effect, not too long where everybody gets sick of it.
That's it.
But in that 3-month period, so in 1 quarter, you could make significant. And tell me about the outputs. Are there changes? Are people going, this is a terrible idea, or are we seeing...
No, it's
results?
great. So what the biggest takeaways, so everyone is able to articulate quickly in, 15 seconds or less what they do and who they help in a way that encourages the other person to go, oh my goodness, tell me more.
What's yours?
What's mine?
Under the bus.
Why is he doing this to me?
Because I'm evil.
For Brisbane Small Business or the Culture Cure?
Mate, whatever you feel.
You know how it can be really frustrating running your own business, not knowing who to speak to and who to reach out to when you have challenges? We fixed that.
That's pretty good. What about the other one? Come on.
I honestly haven't been
Pressure.
working on my I've been doing it for
Really?
Brisbane
So you've
Small
been
Business
doing it for Brisbane Small Business?
as I've gone through.
That was a really lovely answer.
Yeah.
Like when you don't even know what you don't know. And I must say that's been the thing, and it's worth acknowledging it here, because what we're doing is we're doing new things, and we're doing things that I think are exciting. But I have to thank Brisbane Small Business for the existence of this podcast.
Yes.
Because without it, without the things that I did there, I wouldn't have been forced to talk to people and to make videos of myself talking, and realise I don't like videoing myself talking. And I went, do you know what would be better if I don't have to? I could
just turn off the camera.
I could interview somebody,
Ooh.
and then I'd only have to talk less.
Amazing. And here you are, just crushing the podcast world.
Yeah, you are episode number 36.
That is awesome. And you might know the statistic. Statistically, podcasts only make it to episode
I don't know. From what I've watched from people I've seen start them, if they get past 5 to 7, they've done pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because do you know what? It's actually a monster effort.
It is.
Not just the technical side and the talking and the thinking of stuff to say, but, oh man, the time you put into organising guests.
That's right.
That's massive. Because I'd set myself a target of 1 a week.
Yeah.
And it used to nearly kill me to organise one person.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, people don't want to come on a podcast that doesn't why am I coming on this?
Right.
Who listens to it?
Everybody, hello.
Your dog and your mum, great. Okay, fantastic. That was a real challenge.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually getting to find any momentum.
Mm-hmm.
It now has some of its own momentum because it's had a few people on it and a few people who listen to it.
Yeah.
But the first 25 episodes, mate, grind.
Yep.
It's probably only the last 10 episodes where I've felt some traction.
Right. There you go. Well, now you is thanking you that did the grind of the first 25.
But that's the BSB thanks.
Yeah.
So it's actually thanks to Kevin, because he was like, if you're going to be here, you've got to add value, and you need to add value by sharing your thoughts. And I'm like, I don't want to share my thoughts. But it was in order to become a more comfortable speaker.
Yes.
Because I'm a back of house guy.
Yeah.
I'm not the front guy. I tell people what to do. I don't.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't do the thing, and that was something that I realised I probably had to overcome.
Yeah.
And that was actually why I forced myself to do it.
There you go.
Because I wanted to overcome that.
Yes. Excellent.
But Brisbane Small Business is responsible for this.
Amazing.
Which I think is kind of cool.
It is very cool.
Which is probably kind of cool. And Amanda, you should introduce it, this little thing that we're going to do next, because this is going to be episode number
2, yes. So, by the way, team, you're also listening to the Brisbane Small Business Podcast. Get excited.
And that's the best bit, because what we're doing here is offering an opportunity to people in the higher ranks of Brisbane Small Business.
Yes, that platinum club that I alluded to earlier.
That if they want to be part of this, so I'm going to dual purpose this thing that we're doing here. And this is, again, for any commercial operator, whenever you can use something more than once. Man,
Recycle, repurpose, all of them.
how good's that? And, if you've had Gary Vee pop up in your feed, he'll tell you to repurpose everything 47 times.
At least.
What he won't tell you is where to find an editor that can competently do that.
Yeah, look, that's a whole other story.
Yeah, so that's another game. I don't know the answer either. If I had that for you, I'd probably have reels.
Look.
Of podcast, but I don't. So you'll notice that I haven't figured that out either. But it's giving people the opportunity that if they're making their own content, to be able to share that to the broader
That's right.
Brisbane small business
Exactly.
community via additional platforms.
Yes.
Because as the internet shifts and moulds, it's another thing that we can do and we can offer.
That's
and we
right.
can share and we can collaborate on and we
Exactly.
can do together.
Which I'm excited about. And we want to hear so many more voices. The Platinum Club has been a little bit quiet, Scott.
Well, it has, and it's got, there's 90 odd members in there, and I feel like we're talking to a limited audience here.
Yeah.
But there's something in with anything. If you're going to get involved in something, you will only get out of it what you put into it.
100%.
And you know what's weird? I actually say that I talk to parents coming into my son's school. I've got a role there.
Yeah, nice.
Where I get up and I speak to prospective parents.
Cool.
And I tell them that if you just drop the kid off at the gate and you walk away, that's everything you're going to get from this experience.
That's it.
But if you walk in and you talk to people and you spend time and you meet the teachers and you come along to something and you volunteer, you are going to have a much richer experience and your child will have a much richer experience. And it's the same with these sort of things. It's the same
100%.
with a small business group, whatever small business group you go to, like you might be listening anywhere in the world. If you just sign up to it and sit in the background, that's probably where you need to give yourself a little smack upside the head and
That's
go,
right. Yeah.
Am I here to sit on the sidelines?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't put yourself out there, that's the whole game.
That's right.
Is putting yourself out there and finding a way to push your things forward, but overcoming your own fears of failure, inadequacy, imposter syndrome, all the cool things that we all suffer with as small business owners are surprisingly hard and are actually something that you probably need a kick in the ass if you get involved in those things and then don't sort of push it a bit further.
That's right. 100%. Could not agree more.
Yeah. Amanda, as we start to wrap this up,
Yes.
there are so many things that people are going to need to read up on after this. So you're actually going to have to provide me with some show notes for all the things
Got you covered.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Let's start with you.
Yes.
For people that would like to follow Amanda and her love of Disney
Yeah.
and her culture cure
It's real. It's real.
and her answers to performance that include the stick, the carrot, the recipe. Mate, there's a whole thing going on here, isn't there? Where can people find you around the internet?
Yes. So easiest way, so LinkedIn, you can search for me, Amanda Rosazza. So ROSAZZA. I'll show notes this for you. Don't stress. Same on Instagram, Facebook. I'm in all the places. The Culture Cure. Feel free to join my community as well. The Culture Cure Make Magic at Work. So you'll find that on Facebook.
Is that a Facebook group?
Yeah.
I'm not in that.
It's pretty fresh.
Look out.
Yeah. Scott's like, I'm coming over.
I'm going to jam in there and have a look at what's going on.
We're working on it. It's a work in progress. It's very cool. It's fun. But search for my name, like we said at the start. It's a pretty unique one.
Pretty easy to find, and
Yeah.
they'll know it's the right person by the hair.
Yeah, that's right. Look for the coloured hair.
If you see unicorn, you'll go, "This is
That's her.
that's
I found her.
That's the colour. It is
found
it is
her.
very striking. I think
Yes. Well, thank you.
It's very cool.
And Brisbane Small Business.
Brisbane Small Business,
if
yes.
you're not a member of the group already, make sure you join the group on Facebook. Make sure you also create your free listing in the member directory, brisbanesmallbusiness.com.au. So we do have a free member directory there so that you can be found by other small business owners across the globe, really, all of the places.
Absolutely.
Yes. Does that answer your question
Look,
sufficiently?
I think so. And most importantly, you check the show notes.
Yeah, that's right. Check those show notes,
Check
team.
the show notes. I just like saying that. Makes it sound like a real podcast.
Yeah, it's legit, yo.
Bring it up, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
So my problem is it's bringing up Eli, but I haven't got it. I need
okay.
like a person over in the corner. Like
You
I
do.
need a cardboard
Just
cutout
like Rogan. Yeah.
for-
Oh,
in
yeah.
case he's not here.
Oh,
Like,
can we?
Yeah, we actually. I'd love cutout.
Let's do that.
Actually, we could have like cut out David Hasselhoff. That'd be the
That
best.
would be, oh my goodness, can we please?
Yeah, please.
And then play Jump in My Car.
Yeah, that would be the best.
Amazing.
Amanda, thank you.
Thank
It was
you.
really lovely having you in here because, we're only getting to know each other. We only met earlier this year.
We did.
Obviously working together on this Brisbane Small Business Project.
Yes.
But it's really lovely and I appreciate you taking the time to share with me what you do.
Thank you.
And how you impact businesses and individuals. And I'm really excited with what you're doing for Brisbane Small Business because from me, you have an infectious enthusiasm for
Thank
what
you.
you do. And it's really lovely. And again, some people might find that a bit confronting and go, wow, that's a lot of energy
They do.
for one person. But I think that it's a really wonderful thing. And I am really excited to see where you take all of this.
I'm really excited too. And thank you so much for the opportunity to hang out today.
Mate, the bloody best.
So good.
Well, everyone that's listening, thanks so much for joining us. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.